Hello Internet friends and family. Today is Sunday, March 16, 2014, and I am back at the Tucson Festival of Books. I'm walking around and behind me is the circus area. There's going to be live acts performing. I think they're just kind of practicing. There's some jugglers out there right now. Behind me is the bookmobile from Pima County Library District powered by Overdrive. I'm just kind of in a different area that I didn't make it to yesterday, so I'm going to be walking around. I'll take some pictures and maybe some video and just kind of show you what I'm seeing here. It's just so exciting to see so many books and people who love books. So the entire east, well, like a third of the mall, the east portion of the mall, is devoted to Science City, Science of Everyday Life, they've got a Science City Visitor Center, Science of Tomorrow, so all things related to science are in this section of the festival. Okay, I have made it to the eastern part, the farthest east end of the book festival. There are some food vendors down here, the corn roaster, there's a fry bread and a balanced breakfast bar and more tents. There's lots of these stages and areas where there's presenters and authors, and it looks like there's a group of Irish dancers about ready to go on. They were just kind of doing their little practice a second ago when I walked up here. Yeah, so I'm kind of at the end here of the mall. There's a coffee place, and that's Campbell Avenue down there. So this is the end of Science City down here. Lots of interesting booths and Nature Conservancy. The museums are kind of in this area. They've got interactive things for kids. Many of the colleges within the University of Arizona are also in this area. Institute for the Environment, etc., etc. This is the Saguaro Stuffers Clog Dancers. They're practicing for their 10 o'clock performance. Okay, I have my first goodie bag thing, 6 CFL lights. Tucson Electric Power are giving away these for free. They want everyone to be using CFL lights. So I have 6 of them, and yeah, so I get to carry them around the rest of the day, but they have stacks and stacks of them, so worth checking out their booth. Checking out the microscopes here.
No, the white is the sun.
I don't think it's 19th century at all. I realize we're in Science City, and my book is about neuroscience and psychology, but I'm going to start my introduction with a very seemingly non-scientific quote, which is the beginning of my book as well. It's from my favorite poet, W.H. Auden. Choice of attention, to pay attention to this or ignore that, is to the inner life what choice of action is to the outer. In both cases, man is responsible for his choice and must accept the consequences. As Ortega y Gasset said, "Tell me to what you pay attention, and I will tell you who you are." Now, in the lab, both behaviorally and from a neuroscience perspective, they're doing imaging studies. And what we're finding is that meditation and by the way, the instructions that I gave you are the exact instructions that are normally used in this study. So all in these types of studies, so people are really just instructed to focus on their breath and to dismiss any thoughts that might occur, and that's it. So what people are finding is that doing this really does improve concentration. This is all quantifiable. They've done it in the real world with HR personnel, and they found that the HR personnel become much more efficient. They become better at all of their scheduling tasks and everything that used to take them much longer. They can do it much more rapidly, and they do find that there's now some interesting work that's showing a really good relationship with curing depression, that people who do this become, in addition to cognitive behavioral therapy, it becomes a much better outcome. And there's a researcher in Florida who's doing this with the military right now, and so people who are about to be deployed.
Yeah, I think it looks a little bit more crowded up on that section than it is down here on Science City.
Right.
Okay, lunch today is courtesy of Ziva's. The lady that I volunteered with yesterday was telling me about this place, and I got 2 enchiladas, beans, and rice for $6. So, yeah, let's dig in. I'm starving. Here is the University of Arizona bookstore tent where they have piles and piles of books for all the authors who are speaking and doing signings. Yeah, and it's all kind of alphabetical by last name, so there's a lot of books in here. And I'm sure they've sold a lot because obviously there were signings yesterday too. Okay, I am back home from day 2 of the Tucson Festival of Books. Oh my goodness, I am exhausted. But a great time. I heard Dr. Maria Konnikova. The name of her book is Mastermind, How to Think Like Sherlock Holmes. I think she started as a neuroscientist, and she kind of talked for about 10 minutes, and I think I have a little clip of that, which I'll insert it. Just kind of her opening quote, and then she took she answered questions from the audience. And it was very interesting. It was all about the science of the brain and what studies are showing. And what studies are showing regarding, somebody asked a question about multitasking, and she's like, you're really not multitasking. It's really your ability to flip from one thing to another, because your brain can only do one thing at a time. And how studies are proving that people, especially in the workforce, do better focusing on one task and doing that well instead of trying to do this flip, 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 flip thing. So very, very interesting. I just walked around, looked at a lot of booths. I've got some clips. I'll put those. Will have seen them by now. But anyway, yeah, I think next year I will plan out. I'll have a better idea of what to expect and where I'll want to go. But this year was just kind of understanding it and sampling everything that it was to offer. So it was a great time, highly recommended. I would say that if you are a pet owner, a dog owner, please do not bring your dog to the festival. It is not a dog-friendly festival. They ask that you do not bring your pets to the festival. There are just too many people in a very, the space is not big. And, dogs get spooked, but there were still people who brought their dogs, and I saw one couple with like 3 dogs on a leash. Not good. Too many kids, too many strollers, other things. Unless you have a service animal, please do not bring them to the Tucson Festival of Books. There's my PSA for the day. So anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.